In this video, we'll be installing a Nolathane rear sway bar, but with modified frame attachment points similar to a Hellwig but stronger. Here's both a comparison table of existing rear sway bar solutions and the one in this video. In addition, here are my thoughts on these solutions. 1. I do not think it is a good idea to drill holes into any box frame. 2. The sway bar could get damaged if it is located below the axle. Here are the parts required for the sway bar installation. See my website for links to the parts. This slide shows parts that will be used, modified, and not used. Here we are mounting the rear sway bar to the rear axle. The first step is to put the hardware on the axle. Next we'll be putting grease on each sway bar bushing, 2 total. 1 packet per bushing. Use your finger to spread around the grease inside each bushing. Any excess will be put directly on the sway bar where the bushings are located. Make sure that the sway bar is centered. Here we'll be using a step drill bit. We need to enlarge one of the 9/16 inch holes in the splice plate to a 5/8 inch hole to fit the end link mount. The step drill bit is not deep enough, so we will have to flip over the splice plate. Now the end link mount fits. Here we are drilling a pilot hole for eventually mounting the 5/8 inch end link mount. Moving up to a larger drill bit. Now the step drill bit. Using the splice plate as a guide, we mark the 9/16 inch hole to drill. Like the last hole, starting with a smaller drill bit, then larger, then eventually to the step bit. Now we can mount the end link. The splice plates will be used to sandwich the crossmember. We need to make sure that the rod on the crossmember is centered and square to the sway bar end link. Once it is, we can tighten the mount on the crossmember. We test installed the threaded rod. We need to measure the depth in which the rod is perpendicular to the threaded rod. Here we are cutting 3 inches off the threaded rod. Using a grinding wheel, take off the sharp edges and chamfer the threaded rod end. Comparing the uncut rod to the cut rod. The completed cut rods. Screwing in the threaded rod to the correct height. Make sure that both ends are aligned prior to installing the bolts. Tighten up the bolts. Check that the sway bar bushing bolts are torqued to 30 foot-pounds. Then install the locking nuts. Here's the finished Nolathane modified rear sway bar solution. A close-up of the end links and mounts. For the next version of this solution, we'll trim off 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from the top to clear the slight bend. These slides show the other sway bar solutions for Nolathane/Belltech and Hellwig for reference by the corresponding manufacturers. So when are you going to install your Nolathane modified rear sway bar?